Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. This is Russell Santos, the Realtor, back on another segment of Long Island Locals. I'm here with my guest, Gerald Fernando. Gerald is a producer, content creator of G FACTOR on IGTV, and a former audience producer and guest booker of ABC News.
I'm super thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm honored to have you. Now, Gerald, I don't know if you noticed that we are cousins. I looked up to Gerald since I was a kid. He started off like doing, I feel like majority of people do this. They make their own home videos, movies, mainly on the horror genre. And that just inspired me to just like create my own content to where we are now. Now, Gerald, I know I was following you on Instagram, and I see you, being like audience producer of ABC News. Now, tell me, how did you land those gigs?
So yeah, I majored. I always knew I wanted to get into television and film. I was actually inspired to get into television from the show Saved by the Bell. I know I keep bringing that up like that as my favorite show, but just seeing the live audience having fun on Saved by the Bell, like it kind of got me interested in the TV and film world. So just a flash forward, I went to college. I majored in mass communications at SUNY Oneonta State College, and knowing that I wanted to get into film and TV. So I did that, and after doing an internship, I think my first paid job in television was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on ABC. So I worked on season 4 of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when Meredith Vieira was hosting. So basically what my job was to be an audience page. An audience page is the person that we recruit audience members, we seat them. It's like really not the not so glamorous part of the TV business, but it's something that's super important to a game show. It's like you need to have a live audience to make game shows exciting. Back when we had audiences, now it's virtual, so we won't really have that so much, but I became really good at like booking audience members and getting them even on the spot on that game show. And it was a tough job, but I loved it. And a lot of people that start off in that position as an audience page, it's like a part-time position. It's like sort of the entry-level job into television, because like a lot of shows have audience members. Yeah. I found my niche in that because I just love connecting with people and talking to people and sharing experiences with people. So like I found a niche in giving people fan experiences. So it's like that's there's so much that goes on a television show, production-wise, but the idea of having fans come to a show and experience the lights, the cameras, and just to see everything. It's not something that you see at home. So that's what sort of attracted me to the world of television.
Wow. I honestly did not know a lot about that, and how there was like a whole like job pertaining to it. So tell me about that process. Did you actually? I do recall you calling me back then, to be an audience member actually, and you would actually get some of our the family members in. Yes. So how does that work? Is it like a certain personality type that you're looking for, or like?
It really depends. Like when I think I recruited you, when I tried to get you for a show, I used to work on Good Morning America, and like we needed people for specific segments, whether it be a cooking segment or a fitness segment. I need somebody to work out on camera. So I always, for those specific segments, I look for like certain types that I feel like would be very energetic on camera. That would enjoy being here. You like appreciate everything. Yes. I feel like you would be really good on camera and very charming. Like if you had your family on. But in terms of like audience members, like we just like people that are like energetic and that can clap and like that can sit there. Like we a lot of people, like when I first started in television on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, people used to like mail in their tickets. We used to reach out to people through the mail. Like we used to do that. Yeah. Like, but everything is online these days, and like we have like a website where people can request tickets now, and like they can book tickets to come to the shows. It's much easier to go to a talk show. Like of course right now we're in a pandemic, so things are more virtual until things get under control with the coronavirus. But yeah, it's just I just look for energetic, happy types that like just want to be there and just experience the world of television, because it's a very different process from watching it at home. It's very different. It's like just to see your favorite anchors and hosts like in action. Like I see you in action, like hosting, and it's like it's such a process. And like I always wanted to learn what your process is, because I've seen your show evolve so much from when it started. Like you just said to me that you're gonna do this, and you just ran with it. But as you know, a lot goes into the work of like putting together a television show, whether it's a YouTube show or a YouTube startup, or whether it's Good Morning America or Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Right.
So there's a lot involved, and it was always very interesting to get the view of everything from every aspect of it, from just like camera shots or like shots of the audience, getting people to clap, just getting people involved in segments. Just everything. Like I love the industry so much.
Right.
Yeah.
So specifically on how to be a millionaire.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Sorry, it's been such a long time. I remember when it was Regis Philbin, and he was not so it was like the other. That's when I actually fell off, and I didn't say I lost interest, but I guess I went into other like media back in the day.
Exactly.
But now I'm curious. During the one of the lifelines, and you had to ask the studio audience, is that all real? Like, is that really getting the audience's input?
Oh yeah.
Okay, really?
It's real.
now these people, they were just random people you find, or because I always thought people are just standing out in line to be on the show, but it doesn't work like that. How does it specifically work?
We would flyer out in Times Square in different spots to just try to get people to take the test to be on the show.
A test?
Yeah, they would be on future shows, but we would flyer in Times Square. You could be in the audience, and then you could take the test to be on the game show. So I remember doing that.
So then after that, what was your next transition?
My next real big break after Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, like I did a show called The Morning Show with Mike and Juliet.
Okay.
That was a show that was on Fox 5. It was a nationally syndicated show, but here in New York, it ran on Fox 5 after Good Day New York. So that show ran for 2.5 years. It was hosted by two really great hosts, by Mike Jerrick and Juliet Huddy. They're sort of like they have that sort of Kelly and Ryan sort of vibe.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
It had a different flavor to it though. It was they talked about everything from they had celebrity interviews, but they also talked about what would they talk about? They talked about diet scams. They talked about any type of scams, insurance scams, just personal stories of people getting scammed.
Really?
Yeah. And then they did a lot of pet segments. They did a lot of cooking segments. It was almost a variety show for the morning. It would go from heavy to light, but it was really a fun show, and I made a lot of friends on that show, and our audience was just 50 audience members a day, but we did that 5 days a week for 2.5 years. And
yeah. Well, 5 days being an audience coordinator, what was the background like? It's not your average 9 to 5, right?
Well, I mean, in a sense, it is a 9 to 5, but our hours start earlier. My days would start much earlier. Right. It would be I would work a 7 to 3 basically.
Okay.
Because we go live at 9 o'clock, so everything is about making sure we have a full audience, checking in the audience. We would feed the audience breakfast. Our breakfast was served by Au Bon Pain.
What?
Au Bon Pain. It was a chain of
okay.
So it's basically setting up the experience for the audience members. A lot goes into it. We always have to make sure we have a full audience. Because if it's less than 53 people, I think we had a 52 person audience. We would have to say that only 40 people showed up. We would have to find the other. We'd have to find the other 12.
But this was prior to the actual. It's not okay, we're rolling in 5 minutes.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes if we don't have a full audience, we still have to find them, and it could literally be 15 minutes before the show, and I could find people. But with me, I tell you why I love audience coordinating. I love talking to people. So even though I was in a sort of a management role, I absolutely love just finding people in the street. Our studio is in the Fox News building, in the News Corp building, and we were close to Rockefeller Center, close to Times Square.
Yeah, so you get a lot of
and it was just back in a time when there was just tourists everywhere.
Yes, exactly. It's such okay. I could see why the different sudden shift ever since the pandemic.
Yeah, but what I loved about it was I have a weird connection with tourists in Times Square. I can see things from their perspective, and that's why I'm really good at my job. I'm just good at talking to them and making the TV experience sound really good to them. Like I've always been a salesperson.
Yeah, I get it.
And I think that's what made me so unique and so good at that job is I'm so salesy about it. Like I can make the experience of experiencing a 1-hour talk show seem like the best thing in the world, and, and it is a lot of people because they don't experience it where they're from, whatever state they're in, you know.
But who would say no? Who are the ones that like?
Well, people that are creeped out in the street. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, some people just don't like to be approached in Times Square. But I feel like of all the people like that are audience coordinators, I feel like I'm the most unassuming. I'm so kind to people. Like I am. People tell me all the time that I am not a threat. I don't come off as a threat.
I get it. No,
but like I'm good at that. Like I'm good at that. Like, but some people they surprise me. They don't want to experience it. They're like, who is Mike and Juliet? Who are these hosts? Oh, I don't like that show. Like I used to do the same thing on The View. They're like, I don't like The View. And that's a very political show. But then I'm like, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and they're like, I don't care.
Sister Act.
Yeah, exactly. Sister Act. But believe me, I played the Sister Act card and the Ghost card. And
oh yeah, I forgot you were in Ghost.
The Serafina card. I remember every movie.
Yeah,
right. Color purple card.
Oh, and the girl from Roseanne. I forgot her name. Was she in it? The girl from Roseanne, the daughter.
The daughter. I think she was in The Talk. The Talk.
Oh, I get the confused. You see, I'm not. Yeah. That's not like my whole criteria of just like.
Yeah. A lot of daytime fans are diehard daytime fans, so they know what shows are on. So
everyone's commenting. It's like, Russell, you don't know your talk shows. How dare you unsubscribe? But all right, yeah. So how was this the host? Did you get it like one-on-one time with them, or were they just like behind closed doors?
Most of the hosts that I've worked with, they've treated me with such respect, and they've always treated me like colleagues, especially on Mike and Juliet. Like Mike, we would like go to happy hour sometimes.
Really?
Yeah. Juliet, we had a party at her house.
Wow.
Yeah, like they're just very kind people. I think for the most part, like most of the almost all the hosts I've dealt with are very kind to me. I don't think I've ever dealt with a bad host. I mean, some are more like they're more private, like they're not as accessible. Yes. But I've never dealt with anyone that wasn't kind. And I just feel like a lot of the hosts I work with, they're so grounded and they're appreciative to be there. They're appreciative to have a job. Mm-hmm. They've always been kind to me and they appreciate the work that I do.
Right.
Especially on Good Morning America. Like Robin Roberts was super nice. Super nice.
So I understand you're a big fan of Saved by the Bell.
I really am, yes.
So have you...
Don't get me started on Saved by the Bell.
Have you met Christian Slater?
Christian Slater?
Yeah. I'm sorry, what's his... Oh my God.
AC Slater?
Yeah, Mario Lopez. What am I saying? Yeah.
You know, it's so funny because in 2007 or 2008, he was in... I think he came to the Mike and Juliet show, and I met him in the green room, but I never spoke to him. Like I've had so many instances where I've been in the same room, like inches away from celebrities, but I don't know what to say to them because, especially if
that's your job. I feel like that should come natural, no?
I mean, yes and no, because like with me, like I manage the studio audience, that's sort of my world, and sometimes like. I don't know, like sometimes I feel like celebrities are unapproachable to me, even though if they're really kind. Some of them, they go out of their way to be kind.
Wow.
Like, I would say, like, honestly, two of the nicest people that I've ever met, celebrity-wise, were Martin Sheen and Charlie Sheen.
Really?
On separate occasions.
Okay.
And it's so funny because they came to two different shows, like in two different points in time. But they were just so friendly. They went out of their way to shake my hand, and they were like, "Oh, how are you?" They had to have a conversation with me.
That's
but
so nice.
I think the Sheens are just a nice family.
Oh.
Like they're just super kind. And
he's the father, right?
Yeah, Martin Sheen's the father.
And he was in Wall Street with him, right?
Wall Street, Apocalypse Now. Yeah, that sort of
I'm very I didn't even when I watched Wall Street, I didn't even know that they were father and son in real life. So it was kind of ironic when I looked at it after the fact, like, oh, this guy, I'm like a lot of celebrity fandom just go flies over my head. I thought it was Christian Slater.
But it's just so funny with like the whole celebrity thing. Like it's something that it's very cool to be there in the moment and just see everything from the inside. But it really just stopped phasing me after a while. Just like seeing these celebrities, like, especially at Good Morning America.
What do you mean?
No, I just didn't even react to like the celebrities being in the same room with me. Like I remember just like, because I would come in at like 5:30, 5:45 in the morning at Good Morning America. And then I would go to the breakfast room, get some coffee, and I would go into like the green room. And the green room is where like I just set up my bag and stuff and put myself down and everything and just hang out until work starts, until we start checking in the audience. But like the green room was also the place where celebrities would come in and just like chill before they would would shoot or rehearse or anything or do their interviews. And I just remember one day I came in at like 6 in the morning. I'm just sitting and chilling, and then there was this nice guy that looked like Mr. T. He looked like Mr. T, but I thought of him as a guy that looked like Mr. T. Like he just happened to resemble Mr. T, but he actually was Mr. T. And it turned out that day was they were doing the reveal of Dancing with the Stars. So like after I realized that was really Mr. T, he was so funny and so quirky. Like he was like the nicest guy ever. And he brought his own doll with him of Mr. T. Then I see like Nancy McKeon from like The Facts of Life, like Joe from The Facts of Life, and then the singer Charo, like the Coochie 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 Coochie. I don't know if you remember that her. She's a famous singer, but like everybody that was on Dancing with the Stars this year, I'm like looking around, I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So every day was like something like that. It was like fun surprises every day. But after a while, I'm just like, what's next?
So that sounds like you had a big experience from the audience producer side.
Yes.
So going to your whole content creator that I'm realizing you're really going full throttle on. One of the things I really appreciated was your segment, Celebrity Close Encounters.
Yeah.
So speaking like,
thank you for bringing that up.
Well, because we were just talking about celebrities. You were very shy, but how was that whole process? Finding a random person on the street, and then what did you say? You look exactly like Lindsay Lohan. I want a selfie.
It's so funny because it's funny that you say that, because I tell you that meeting actual celebrities doesn't really faze me anymore. I don't really react to it, but I get ultimately starstruck when I meet a celebrity close encounter.
Really?
A celebrity lookalike.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, my palms sweat. I'm like, oh my God. She looks just like Dee Wallace Stone, the mom from E.T. Like
it's so random.
And that's how it was born. Like I was telling you that I worked a lot of jobs in addition to television. I was a Broadway promoter for a while. I worked at TKTS, and that's how I'm just really good at sales and just talking to people, whether it be getting people to go to a free talk show or a Broadway show or something.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's been surprisingly my wheelhouse for years. But I remember, just to kill time out in Times Square, I would just look around, and if I see like a tourist that look like a celebrity, and tourists are usually very kind to me. Like I just know how to approach them.
Sure, you're non-threatening.
Yeah, I'm non-threatening. But one thing I did learn was, don't ever talk to a person with face tattoos. Don't sit next to a person on the subway with face tattoos. Don't promote a show to them. Don't ask them to come to Good Morning America, because they're gonna scream at you.
Needless to say, you didn't find any Lil Wayne close encounters, right?
No, I have not. But I think my first ever celebrity close encounter, who I didn't approach, but I'm like, wow, there's something here, was actually Dee Wallace from E.T., the mom from E.T. There was a lot of women that come to New York with short blonde hair that looked like Dee Wallace Stone. And I joke about it all the time. And like, I feel like when I used to be around tourists all the time at Good Morning America and in Times Square, I used to run into at least 5 Dee Wallaces a year.
Really?
And then I would post them, and then what's that's so great about Instagram? Like Dee Wallace would actually like the photo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's another thing. I'm like, that's why I love Instagram. I'll tell you more about why I love Instagram as a platform. Like that's my wheelhouse. That's what I love, and that's why I'm doing my Instagram show on it. But I love tagging the actual celebrities, especially with the celebrity close encounters. Yeah. Unless if I think they're gonna get mad about it. But yeah, I love finding celebrity lookalikes, and I found everybody. And it's so funny because my frame of reference. I know I don't really care so much about who the most famous person is now in Hollywood today, but I have a strong memory of like 80s, childhood 80s and 90s icons. So like on my Instagram page, go to my Instagram at Celebrity Close Encounters. You'll find a lot of like random 80s and 90s stars, like random people, like random like actresses from Beverly Hills 90210, like Kelly Taylor's mom. This woman looked like Kelly Taylor's mom. Or sometimes I'll have political figures. I saw this woman that looked like Elizabeth Warren. Wow. She looked just like Elizabeth Warren, but she wasn't like Elizabeth Warren with her red blazer. It was like the dead of winter, and she was all bundled up like an Eskimo. But like underneath, like in her hood, like with her glasses, she looked like Elizabeth Warren bundled up, and she was getting a ticket to a show. And I didn't want to like ruffle feathers politically with people, so I just told her that, oh my God, you look just like my English teacher.
Oh. Wait, so you do it after the fact, and then you said, do they really look like this person?
No. Usually, I'll the average person, I'll just approach them and just tell them straight out, this is who they look like.
How do they react? Do they get that a lot?
They think it's a little weird, but then they're just like okay with it. And then like sometimes I'll get their info so they can look at it later on Instagram, and then I'll post it. And then they really like it. They're like, oh, I was approached in Times Square by this weird dude that thought I looked like a celebrity.
Hey, everything happens in Times Square.
I mean, admittedly, some of my celebrities look kind of janky and they look really bootleg. But over the years, like there's a graphic design element. So say that I find somebody that looks like Elizabeth Warren, like I will like sort of like Photoshop her face to make it look like her a little more. Like I'll do all sorts of things. Like if like the eyebrow needs to be different, I'll Photoshop it and like I'll tilt the eyebrow up a little bit. I remember I met a Christian Bale lookalike.
Really?
But it was a Christian Bale lookalike, but he looked like he was like 20 years old. And Christian Bale is obviously 40s or something. He's older now. He's a real distinguished gentleman. But this guy looked like Christian Bale, but he looked like he was in his 20s. But he also had like a curly, like afro type hair. So I found an app where you can change the hairstyle and everything. And then like I changed the filter. And then if you really squint, it looks like Christian Bale.
So it's a lot of stretching, but I get it. It's like part of your content. You do that on like you were doing that on a consistent basis.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have a whole. If you go on my camera roll on my phone, I still have a lot of celebrity close encounters that I haven't posted. So like right now I'm trying to find that sort of work-life creative balance and like just like post every week and stuff. But I have a lot of celebrity close encounters that I have yet to reveal. So I have like at least 10 to post, and like they're everything from celebrities to dogs. Celebrity dogs. That's another thing. Yeah. I remember I did one of Sean Spicer, but I don't know if you remember that Sean Spicer story where he was like hiding from the press and he was hiding in a bush. I don't know if you remember that.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was like hiding from the media. Sure. He was hiding in a bush near the White House. So I remember I was walking through the set of The View, right outside where the View Studios is. There was like a prop of a giant bush, a giant green bush. So I just basically took that bush, did a selfie, and then I just put like fake eyes on it. I just put eyes, and then I'm like Sean Spicer. So
it was like the current event.
It was the current event. So I did a lot of current event related ones. I called them political close encounters. It's like I absolutely love doing it. I wish if there was a way that I can turn celebrity lookalikes into a job, I would totally do it.
well, now you seem to be really, like I said, going full throttle with G Factor. Yeah. What is your main goal with this site?
So G Factor. G Factor was a YouTube show that I created. I think it was like in 2014 or 2015. I called it the On the Go Talk Show, and it was mainly something I did because I had an iPhone and I was bored, and I was working part-time at The View at the time, and I really just wanted to just explore content creating, and I just did not care about like if anybody was watching. And it was funny because like I think my first ever sort of G Factor was I was at the Queen Center Mall at Macy's, and then I was like, I'm just gonna start talking to the camera. I record on my camera, and I started talking about like the brands at Macy's that I like. I buy the Ink brand. It's sort of the private label brand of Macy's. Sure. It's very affordable clothes and they look very nice.
Yeah.
And I just started giving fashion tips on what I buy from the Queen Center Mall at Macy's, if anybody cares, because I'm like the icon of fashion here. But so I started talking to the camera, and then I added like a fun disco song to it. I'm like, I kind of like this, and then I posted it on Facebook. I think it was when Instagram was starting to become popular, or I mean it was, but like I was more of a Facebook guy. So I posted it there, and people liked it. Like people liked it. The people that took the time to watch it, they liked it. Like I mean, even if it was just our cousins Rosette and Baby and my dad, I definitely had a captive audience in my cousins and family. But no, but people actually did like it. So I just kept shooting episodes. So I would like literally jump from topic to topic, and like I did not care if anybody was watching. I wasn't really beholden to any followers, and I feel like I'm the same way now. But and I stopped doing it for a while, and I really wanted to like revisit it, because once started people taking notice of it as a fun show. Like I was like, oh my god, I have to make the next season really good. Like, and I just kept overthinking it, and I kept putting it off, and I got like a little bit of imposter syndrome. I don't know if you've ever dealt with that as an artist.
What do you mean?
Like imposter syndrome. Yeah, imposter syndrome is when you know you're really good at something, but your mind keeps telling you that you're not. You're a fraud. It's a powerful thing, and a lot of performing artists or directors, like a lot of people go through that. Like, and that's something I was going through. So I knew that I wanted to create a new iteration of G Factor, but I was just recently inspired by the pandemic to bring it back into something that is sort of meaningful to me in a way that I want to shoot it. And yeah, I do G Factor from home. So basically, right now I work a remote job. During the pandemic, I'm not doing it like an actual full-time TV gig right now. I actually work remotely from my home office, and it's a good job. I work in sales, but when I'm not working in sales, I work on G Factor. It's my little project for IGTV. So. I basically took the same premise of G Factor. I kept it. I used to be called It's Not the G Factor TV. I just shortened it to G Factor.
Right.
It's not a YouTube show anymore. It's on IGTV because I absolutely love Instagram. I love posting Instagram stories. I love adding music to it. I feel like I connect with audiences and viewers through that platform more than anything else, I would think, more so than YouTube. So
it makes it a lot simpler than just like balancing. I, for one, am going back and forth between Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah.
So I understand that like getting rid of that whole YouTube side is probably a big stress, like weight off the shoulder.
Definitely. And it all goes to it all relates to not comparing myself to others.
Yes.
I just like being my authentic self, and I don't really see. I'm not really expecting any outcomes out of G Factor. It's just something that I really like to do.
It's a passion project. I get it. Yeah.
It is, and like basically what G Factor is, I call it. It's basically video essays. I keep it very simple.
Right.
It's video essays that showcase performing artists, people. Just like things that I feel that are that can ignite inspiration in others. So
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely. So like I absolutely love indie film. I love theater. I love television. So I talk about anything sort of relating to that. My first like real legitimate episode that I shot last week was inspired by a podcast that actress Elizabeth Berkley did. With Anna Faris, so Anna Faris Unqualified. So Elizabeth Berkley is Jessie Spano from Saved by the Bell.
Jessie. Okay. Yes.
So she's come to become one of my favorite actresses, and I decided to just devote a whole episode to her on why I think she's a really great actress, and because she had to go through a period in her career where she had to have a lot of resilience because she went from being a child star on Saved by the Bell. And then she took risks in her career after Saved by the Bell at the age of 21, and she ended up landing the lead in the movie Showgirls. I don't know if you remember that. Showgirls in 1995?
I can't say I have, yeah.
So Showgirls is a cult classic. It's sort of like an erotic thriller from the director of Basic Instinct. I know it's like it's. Sort of like
I've seen Basic Instinct.
Yeah. It's from the same writer and director, but they made a movie called after that a couple of years later called Showgirls, and it was like a big budget Hollywood movie set in Vegas about an aspiring Las Vegas dancer, and it was rated NC-17.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very controversial at the time. But Jessie from Saved by the Bell, she wanted to do something different. She wanted to distance herself from that project, from Saved by the Bell. She was like, that was her life. That's how everybody identified her. So I found a really good resilient story on how she transitioned from Saved by the Bell to Showgirls, and then really took a risk in her career. And she was kind of lambasted for it. And she didn't know how to find her footing again in her career and press forward and get roles after that, because like her performance was I guess it was a sort of like wrecked by critics. Like even though like she was just doing her role the way she was directed to. Like so basically her journey from that to pressing forward in her career and figuring out what's next for her. Like I find resilient stories like that in performing artists to be very interesting to me. So that's my goal with G Factor, to sort of highlight that more.
And I think celebrities would really, whatever you talk about, it's like you have sort of like the unpopular opinion or something that not a lot of people really think too much of, and you find that G Factor.
Exactly.
No pun intended. And then you actually dive. I get it, actually, and that's what I admire about you.
Yeah.
You focus on the human aspect, and you see that it's the bigger picture. It's not just what the actor or what the person did. It's what the meaning behind it, and it's like what they were trying to accomplish.
Exactly.
As a person.
Yeah.
As we all are. I mean, I've seen a lot of growth from you. Something definitely changed. Like, what was like one of like the keys behind, I guess, your personal growth?
My personal growth is really owning who I am, and definitely not comparing myself to others, and just really trying to just like let my own gifts shine. I really feel that just coming to like grips with that, and just knowing what my value is and what I bring, like that's really helped me like sort of just figure out who I am right now. I feel like I turned 40 this year, but I just feel like this is a great opportunity, because I'm still young, but I'm not young. You know?
I know what you mean. I'm almost there. I'm like 9 more years for me.
You're still a kid. But it's like, you just have to go through life like just like owning what your passions are, being your authentic self, all that stuff. I read so many books on that, like, and just once like I just started to sort of embrace that. And I feel like once you start to embrace that and own your truth, I feel like that's when you start to allow things start coming your way. I'm sure that's true for you, like in terms of everything.
Yeah, no, that speaks a lot of volumes to me. Wait, so I like reading a lot of books too, like every day. I'm sure you do. So what was the most impactful book?
Oh my God, there's just so many. I absolutely love books on law of attraction,
which I hear a lot about actually. Tell me more about that.
So I read a lot of Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, like she's a teacher of law of attraction, and I actually got introduced to her from her YouTube videos, where she would just talk about just the art of allowing, basically. So it's sort of that thing, just getting it's hard to explain. It's really hard to explain.
I get it actually, but it's mainly living it is what you're trying to accomplish.
Just being in the moment, just allowing it, just getting into a good feeling place. So like once you get into that good feeling place and you're just connecting to source energy, I know I sound so weird right now, but it really
not at all. No, this is like accepting, you know?
But so like just rather than try to force things and just try to allow it, get in a good feeling place and just allow things to happen. I feel like you attract the energy. You attract positive energy rather than just the negative. So it's like you're constantly complaining about things, and you get more of the same. You get crap, you know. But I read a lot of Esther Hicks. I watch a lot of her YouTube videos. I absolutely love. I know we have Think and Grow Rich in common.
Yes. I do own that book. I read it on it back and forth, but so how has that influenced you?
Well, in terms of the actual attaining of wealth, I'm not quite there, admittedly.
Well, who is nowadays?
It's gonna take a while for me to get there, but I just like a lot of the sort of just like the teachings of it, just saying, just putting your thought into action, basically.
Yes.
Just like, just like connecting to source energy. Like, I absolutely love that book. Man, I was trying to think of really good quotes. Just having faith, having faith. I don't know.
Napoleon Hill, I did a video about it, and what he talks about is mastermind groups, and it has a lot of
yes, I noticed that you do a lot of the mastermind groups.
Right.
Yes.
And that's something that I feel like I don't know if you know this, but I feel like that's what you're gravitating towards. You're finding like-minded people that you like to talk about. The 80s vibe, you have like things that people relate to, and then you're using that as a network to bring in to network and collaborate, and you never know who you're going to meet. I met so many people on Instagram like you're talking about, and that's who people I interviewed, like Helen Partlow. She's the Macaroni Kid publisher.
I saw that episode. Yes.
Yeah, so I met her over that.
I'm a fan of your work.
Right. Oh, really? Yeah. So absolutely.
I watch that.
No, and just like through other people that I like to highlight, mainly from the Long Island community, and I have other people that I have booked. I'm just like getting into the swing of things, and that's what I've learned. Your network defines who you are. I always say this so many times. I recurge it. I can't remember who said. Jim Rohn. You are the top 5 people you surround yourself.
It's 100% true.
Yes.
It's 100% true.
Right. Honestly, everything you're speaking holds a lot of truth.
Yeah.
I, for one, a lot of people that people who I've interviewed in the past, it had them think creatively rather than it having that imposter. It's like self-sabotaging mindset. And
it's so easy to self-sabotage. It's so easy because I feel like a lot of the decisions, every decision we make obviously is our choice. We can choose to really further our goals and push forward and try to actualize them, or we can just think about them all day. Like I could think about doing G Factor for the rest of my life
and then not doing it.
Yeah, but it's funny because I just read a lot of books on that. Just taking even a little bit of steps to get the idea on paper, shoot something, write a little bit of a script. It's one step, but it's one step in the right direction to help you create something. And I'm sure you can relate to that on your journey in creating the show.
You speak, you're preaching to the choir.
Exactly.
I'm like everything, I'm just like preach.
Yeah. No.
And this is why I love having guests like you, speaking my truth, sharing that common value. These are the people I like to reach out to, people that have that whole like-minded view on that can mentality rather than the I can't. And it's like what Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way you're right. And that's the truth. I appreciate your whole mindset and how you come about and what you learned from this whole pandemic. But now we're in the present. We're in 2021, February to be exact, depending on when I release this, so don't be confused. So what are you doing now?
So in addition to the content creating, working a little bit on that, I recently took on a leadership role for a really great organization called Barkada NYC.
Okay.
So it's basically a community of LGBTQ Filipinos, friends and allies.
Really?
Yes.
So a Filipino organization, specifically for the
specifically
LGBT.
Filipino organization. They actually started last year, right before the pandemic. So they used to do in-person meetups, and I wasn't involved in it at the time, but I knew of it.
Right.
But it turns out that 2 of my good friends, John Eric and Paul, they created it with a bunch of a few of their other close friends who are the founding leaders of it. And it's been we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. I recently joined as a leader. I used to go to basically after the pandemic started, they started turning their events into from happy hour events in person to virtual events. So we do a virtual happy hour called Halo Halo.
Which I did see a post.
I've been posting aggressively about it.
And explain to people what Halo Halo is.
So Halo Halo basically it's a virtual conversation, a virtual happy hour where it's basically LGBTQ plus Filipinos, friends, allies, everybody's welcome. We're super inclusive.
Okay, right.
Yeah, well, we talk about everything. We talk about we talk about love. We talk about friendship. We talk about surviving during the pandemic. You know, we play icebreaker games, like we do Filipino trivia. No, we just do just about everything. It's just having fun, having conversation, just supporting one another.
So tell me more about Barkada.
So basically, it's a really fun group of guys, and like what I like about Barkada so much is like it's just an opportunity to mentor people, to mentor young LGBTQ Filipino. Really? So it's something that when I was younger, I didn't really have. I didn't really have a lot of like people to look up to in a sense. But I'm older now. I've lived in the city, so like it's nice to just be able to connect with people.
Right.
Like, yeah, and just you know just talk about people, because like being a gay Filipino, like I've had a good life and everything, but you know, it's just like I just sort of like to share my experiences with people, and like that's sort of like what these happy hours are, you know, just to create like really good conversations with people, and you know, just connect. Just connect friends, you know.
Gerald, that within itself is a mastermind group.
No, it really is.
Yeah.
In a sense that it is, and I was actually thinking about that. Like it really is a mastermind group.
And it's that whole passion. Now, when you say you're part of the leadership roles, are you the president? Or?
No. Basically, okay. So I basically just help execute a lot of the events that we're doing.
Kind of like a host coordinator.
Yeah. So executing like the Halo Halo, whatever. Like or like I volunteered to MC the game show that we're doing at this weekend's Halo Halo.
And you're gonna record that?
Yeah, we record all our.
Good, awesome, yeah.
So yeah, I think this weekend we're doing we're gonna be talking. So basically, it's Valentine's Day themed. Ooh, so
okay.
basically the theme is it's the day of love. So basically, we're going to be doing a trivia game where it's basically a game show where the people in the happy hour have to guess the lyrics of Filipino and American songs.
Really?
Filipino and American love songs.
Oh, okay.
So, and it's funny because I wanted to brainstorm and get ideas for songs. Our family is on a group text, so I text the Dela Cruz group text. So I turned to our family to get like song suggestions. I think one of them is going to be used. I forgot the name.
Bakit na yon ka no? Dalhin?
Oh my God. It's all the same to me.
Oh my God, yeah. I only know those two songs. I know we share the Filipino background, and I had a guess that was he is also a Filipino, and he's a musician. He's actually in your area. He's well known in the Filipino community. Matt Relevo. He's a pop.
It's a small world. My parents know him very well. My parents were.
That's right, Santa Nino.
Yeah,
right?
Santa Nino.
Yes.
Prayer group.
So you do know Matt Relevo.
I used to know Matt. Yeah, I used to see Matt as a young kid back in the day.
He's gonna love this.
I remember when he was like this tall.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. My birthday is on February around this. So last month I had it was February 16th. That was technically before the pandemic, but I wanted people to come out for a karaoke night, and I invited him over. He couldn't make it, and he actually just sent me a late birthday present a couple days ago, and it's very thoughtful. And I was just like, Matt, you are a trooper, and like, it's just like it makes sense that you knew him, and like I know him, and then we all share like the same values, not aside from our background, but in what's in the heart,
No, totally.
That's awesome.
Small world.
No, right. I'm sure he would love to hear what's going on, and maybe he'll I don't know, maybe you have some musician events. Be a little creative, like
that would be awesome.
Yeah. Maybe he could play one of the Filipino songs
at Hala Hala. Okay, we could do musical.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know.
I love connecting with people.
Honestly, I shouldn't be surprised. I feel like I'm not trying to alienate other people, but like if you're Filipino, you tend to know the other person. Yeah, I know. We go way back. So you saying that it's not a big surprise, but it's still it's fun knowing that. So it sounds like that. With the pandemic, there's a lot of lessons, there's a lot of experiences and life-changing things that yes, it started out bad, but there's a lot of good that came out of it. And the fact that I could tell you focus on the good, which always outweighs the bad. Brings you to where you are now. It's just your journey. I could hear it from you, and I could tell you it'll only get better from here.
Exactly. Yeah. I just try to when I wake up, I try to just keep a happy state of mind. I'm not perfect.
Yes.
I'm not perfect. Like sometimes I have my bad days, but you know, I just try to stay focused. I try to stay aligned and just appreciative of what I do have. And you know, I don't really see everything as sort of a tragedy right now. I think this is a great time for growth, and like I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're gonna come out of it. We're gonna come out of it, and like things are gonna be great again. I see like performing arts coming back. I see film coming back, and like it's probably not going to be exactly the way that it used to be, but
it's like baby steps.
It's like baby steps, but who knows? It might lead to like, I don't know. The industry the landscape of these industries might change in a really like good, positive way, and I feel like it's gonna be a big comeback soon. I feel, and that's the message that I hope to send through G Factor, just to inspire people to affect that change. If they want to create something, they should create something. So they can feel for inspiration.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you for stopping by, especially you living in the city, coming back to your home of Long Island.
It's always great to be here.
Yeah.
I miss Long Island a lot. I really, really do.
Well, especially with like the city, it's kind of like lost its factor with whole tourism. And you always have family over here, back at home, and this is where you grew up. This is your hometown, and you have friends, and that like. There's a lot more content to,
Exactly.
Especially
one of the things I'm most appreciative of like all my life is just having such a great supportive family. Yes. And we have an eclectic family. And it's like we have so many aunts and uncles, and I have so many eclectic cousins, and like we have so much diverse taste. Like I love that I can share this in common with you.
Yes.
We're both into content creating, and you're doing your thing, and like you're an inspiration to me. And I just love that I have that in my family, that I can turn to somebody if I need advice on something. Like I learned a lot from your camera setup. I know you asked me for advice, but I'm like, how did you do that?
That's another thing. So Gerald, he has mentioned it. Before starting the show, I had no idea about how to, my main thing, I understand cameras, but the whole mic setup. Without him, this show, I would have Googled it, but it's nice to have someone I know or I feel comfortable talking to, and now someone who I have the honor of interviewing to be part of this show. So thank you so much, Gerald.
Thank you for having me.
So I really appreciate you guys for joining me today. Thank you, Gerald, for being on the show on this new season. And as you know, I release real estate related videos and more every Thursday. So please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And be sure to be on the lookout for future videos to come. This is Gerald Fernando, producer, content creator of IGTV. And I'm Russell Santos, the Realtor, signing out. And as always, let me know if there's anything in the world I could do for you.